Every week I get a call or a message from someone living in Seattle who's thinking about making the move down to Tacoma. And every week I have almost the exact same conversation. They're excited, they've done a Zillow search, they've seen the price difference, and they've already started mentally decorating a house they can actually afford. And most of the time, I help them make that move and they love it. But I've also had the other conversation, the one where someone calls me 18 months after they bought and they're unhappy and they want to know what their options are to get out. My name's Kennon Maurer, and in this video, I'm gonna tell you both sides of that story, because if you're considering moving from Seattle to Tacoma, you deserve the truth. So let's start with the obvious. The data on this is real and it's significant. According to Como News, analyzing US Census Bureau data, an estimated 171,000 households were planning to leave King County in a single 12-month period. That's not a small number. And where is the biggest share of those movers going? Pierce County. In other words, the South Sound. And the reason is pretty simple when you look at the numbers. The median home price in Seattle right now is approximately $830,000. The median home price in Tacoma is approximately $460,000. That's a $370,000 gap between two cities that are 30 miles apart. Same state, same weather, same Amazon Prime delivery window, almost half the price. But it's not just the purchase price. According to Numbeo, consumer prices in Seattle, not including rent, run about 15% higher than Tacoma. And when you factor in rent and housing costs, Seattle is over 20% more expensive to live in day to day. And here's the one that really kind of hits people. Grocery prices in Seattle run about 19% higher than Tacoma. You're paying a Seattle tax just to live there, and Washington State has no income tax, which means the savings of living in Tacoma instead of Seattle are pure take-home money. There's no state tax offset eating into your advantage. Now, I think part of the reason some Seattle people are disappointed when they move here is that they come in expecting a smaller, cheaper, lesser version of Seattle, and Tacoma's not that. Tacoma is its own city with its own identity, and once people stop comparing it to Seattle and start experiencing it on its own terms, most of them actually fall in love with it. Tacoma has 760 acres of old growth forest at Point Defiance Park. It has a legitimate waterfront along Ruston Way that rivals pretty much anything in the Pacific Northwest. It has the Museum of Glass, the Tacoma Art Museum, the Washington State History Museum, all within walking distance of each other. It has a food scene and a coffee scene that would surprise most people from Seattle. It has the Tacoma Dome hosting major touring acts. It's a real city, and increasingly, it has the people who built Seattle's culture. So it's got the artists and the chefs and the remote tech workers and the young families who have moved here and are actually building something. Okay, here's the part of the video that you actually came for, because I told you up front that some people make this move and regret it. So let me be specific about why. There are some regrets. First one being, they kept a Seattle job and underestimated the commute. Tacoma to Seattle is 30 to 35 miles on a map, but on I-5 at peak hours, that drive can easily take 60 to 90 minutes each way. So if you're commuting to Seattle 5 days a week, you're spending 2 to 3 hours in a car every day. I've seen people give up the move entirely because of this, and I've seen people burn out on it within about a year. So before you buy, be honest with yourself about how many days per week you'll actually be in Seattle. Another regret that I see is they bought in the wrong neighborhood. Tacoma's a city of neighborhoods, and they're not all the same. There's parts of Tacoma that have excellent walkability, great schools, strong community feel, and high appreciation. And then there's parts of Tacoma that are gonna be a decade away from that. So when I help buyers relocating from Seattle, one of the most important things I do is make sure they understand which neighborhoods match their lifestyle, because buying in the wrong zip code in Tacoma is a very different experience than buying in the right one. Another regret that I see is they expected Seattle amenities and Tacoma prices. Seattle has a density of high-end restaurants, entertainment options, professional sports teams, and an urban infrastructure that Tacoma is still building. So if you need to be in a major league sports city or a world-class dining scene 7 nights a week in a city center that never sleeps, Tacoma isn't that yet. I think it's getting there, but if you make the move expecting an identical lifestyle at half the cost, you probably will be disappointed. With all that said, here's who the move is absolutely perfect for. Remote workers, if you work from home full or part-time and only need to get to Seattle once or twice a week, this is one of the best financial moves you can make. You get $370,000 back in your housing budget. You get a less crowded, more livable city, and you lose almost nothing in quality of life. This area is also great for families. If you're starting a family or you have young kids, the value proposition in Tacoma is extraordinary because you can buy a 4-bedroom house in a great North Tacoma neighborhood for what a 2-bedroom condo costs you in Capitol Hill. The parks, the waterfront, the open space, it's actually a really great environment to raise kids. Another group of people that Tacoma is great for is people who are just done renting in Seattle. If you're currently renting in Seattle and the dream of actually owning a home feels impossible, Tacoma's where that dream becomes real. And I help people make that transition every single month. If you're seriously thinking about making the move from Seattle to Tacoma and you want someone who knows both markets and will give it to you straight, I might be your person. There's a link below to reach out directly to me. And if this video is helpful for you, please make sure to like and subscribe for more honest real estate content about this market.